the worst thing I've ever heard single women say is, I'm single because I'm waiting on God to bring me the right man. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with this, but unfortunately, what I see all too often is that when a woman is saying that she is waiting on God to bring her the right man, what she is doing is actually exercising spiritual laziness. And I want to talk to you about why that is the case. So, yes, as a woman of faith, you, of course, should be guided by your faith. You, of course, are supposed to be guided by your spirituality. I believe that spirituality is one of the most important aspects of our life. I minored in religious studies in college, and I've seen this across the board for people who are Christian, who are Muslim, who are Jewish, even those people who are more spiritual and woo and in that space. I've seen people be so profoundly guided by their beliefs and their theology. The problem with saying that you are waiting on God to bring you the right man is that oftentimes I see women who are not actively waiting, they are just being stagnant. So this means never going out unless it is to work or to church or to maybe see their family members. They're not putting themselves out there. So let me ask you, if you are not putting yourself out there in order to meet a great man, then how do you expect said man to find you? And also, let me ask you if this makes sense in the context of other areas of your life. So, if you went to college, I'm pretty sure that when you went to college, you weren't in high school just sitting around saying, yeah, I'm just waiting on God to send me the right college acceptance letter, and that you just never applied, right? In your career or in your business, you didn't say something along the lines of, I'm just waiting on God to send me the perfect job. And no, I'm not actually going to go out there and apply for a job. Or no, I'm not going to put any work in towards starting a business. I'm just going to wait on God to bring it. So if this is the case, then why in the world would you do this in your dating life? Here's the truth. When it comes to dating and relationships, really when it comes to any area of our life, a lot of times God is waiting on us. So, yes, I truly believe in my heart of hearts that God is not a tease. If there is a desire in your heart, then God placed that desire in your heart for a reason. And I truly believe that He is preparing to deliver. That being said, if you are in a situation where you are not actively working on yourself, so you don't know what it is that you want in a relationship, you don't have any boundaries, you don't know what your boundaries should be, you have never practiced setting boundaries and maintaining boundaries. If you are in a position where you are hurting from past relationships and you've never healed that hurt, if you are in a position in which you never actually get out and talk to people and practice your conversation skills, then one of two things are going to happen. Either A, you'll never get approached by men, so you don't have the opportunity to get out and date, or B, you will sabotage any relationship that comes your way. Because if you are praying for God to bring you the right man, then it is hypocritical of you to not also be preparing yourself. If you expect for God to deliver someone to you who is emotionally, spiritually, financially prepared for marriage, then let me ask you, what are you doing? in order to be financially, emotionally, and spiritually prepared for marriage. If you want God to bring you someone who is going to cherish you, then what are you doing to grow as a more loving, forgiving, and trusting and vulnerable person? Because you cannot build intimacy and connection in a relationship if you do not have the ability to be vulnerable, if you do not have the ability to build trust. You cannot build respect in a relationship if you do not have the ability to set boundaries, to enforce those boundaries, and to maintain those boundaries. You cannot build connection in a relationship if you don't know how to communicate. You cannot build passion and desire in a relationship if you don't know what it is that you want, if you don't understand what your needs are, if you can't communicate your needs to someone else. So, if you are praying to God for the right relationship, if you are praying and expecting for that healthy partner to come to you, the answer is not to pray and wait on God. The answer is to pray and do the work. The waiting comes in when it comes to things like you have met someone, you are dating, and you are asking God for discernment. As in, I've been going out with this guy for a little bit, we've had a couple of dates, and I'm enjoying myself. I need that discernment. I need that help. I need those answers from God as to whether or not this relationship needs to continue further, whether or not this is something that is getting serious, or if this is something that I need to move forward on. Waiting on God is getting to a point in your health and growth where if you are dating someone and you really like him, you think that he's great, but you can also see that there are areas in which this relationship isn't aligned, you are not afraid to walk away. Waiting on God is having the confidence to know that if you're in a relationship and for whatever reason it's not working out, I don't know if he may have ghosted you. I don't know if, just some red flags were thrown up that made you realize that, hey, this relationship is not going to work. Or if you're realizing that it's not going to work because there are some areas in which you need to work on yourself. What waiting on God means is recognizing that you can leave that relationship and you can walk away because you know that God is going to bring you someone who you are truly aligned with. What waiting on God means is that if you have a pattern, a history of bad relationships, waiting is the ability to, one, set some time away from dating and to take a break and trust that as you are working on yourself and as you are growing, when you go back into the dating role, that all those options are still going to be there. Waiting on God means when you are in a relationship and you recognize that the relationship is following some of the same toxic patterns that you've had in the past, and you have this recognition that you have managed to once again date the same man with a different face. Waiting, once again, means walking away and being at peace with that decision to walk away. Here's what waiting on God is not. Waiting on God is not sitting on your couch all day and praying that the right man will eventually come as if you are a Disney princess. Waiting on God is not doing the exact same thing every single day and expecting a different result. So if you're not meeting men where you currently are, maybe that means visiting a different church every once in a while. Maybe that means going out more. And before someone says something about coronavirus, I get it. That's what online dating is for. If the sites that you are on, the apps that you are on aren't working for you, then you need to either A, switch up your profile, or B, switch up the platform that you were on. What waiting is not is giving excuses constantly. Excuses such as, I'm just too shy and too introverted in order to date. Well, I know plenty of married introverted women. So being introverted does not mean that you never have conversations and that you lack communication skills. Introversion and extroversion are a matter of where you get your energy from. They are not an excuse to not talk to people. You know, waiting on God is not making excuses such as, well, no one in my family has ever been in a happy relationship, so I don't know how to date because I don't have that example. That's what the internet is for. You can read books. If you want some great book recommendations, I have a list that I think is awesome, has plenty of great authors that you can check out. You can hire a dating coach like me. If you don't have time to filter men, you can hire a matchmaker. There are podcasts that you can listen to, there are people that you can follow and get advice from. This has never in our history been a better time to learn so much about yourself and then to go out and apply the things that you learn. Waiting on God is not just wishful thinking and living by hope. Waiting on God is doing the work on yourself. And then as you do the work on yourself, it is then surrendering to God and trusting Him to take care of the rest. Again, when you applied for college, you got the good grades in high school, right? You did the extracurricular activities, you applied to the schools, and then you waited on God after the applications were put in to find out which schools you got accepted to. Am I right? When you went into your career, you did the best that you could in college and you got the grades, you did the internships, you actually went out and applied for jobs and interviewed, and then you surrendered to God and waited for a company to call you back. If you have a business, you put in the work to start the business. And knowing that you put in the work, then you waited on God to send you customers or clients. Dating is no different. Dating works exactly the same way. It requires that you work on yourself, that you become a woman who is healthy and feminine and loving. And then as you do that, as you grow yourself, then you attract a higher caliber of men. If you want to attract a high value man, then you must yourself be a high value woman. So, this is what it truly means to wait on God. Again, it is not laziness. And I would like to challenge you, really and truly, if you find yourself saying that very often in whatever area of life it is. So if you're single and you're saying, I'm waiting on God for the right man, if you are unhappy at your job or in your career and you're saying, I'm waiting on God for the right job opportunity, if you have started a business and you're saying, I'm waiting on God to send clients, if you are having health issues and you're saying, I'm waiting for healing, then there's nothing wrong with being patient towards a goal. That is something to be admired. But let me ask you, as you wait, what are you doing to prepare yourself for the blessing? We always hear that Bible verse about, God will open up the doors and pour out blessings that you won't have room to receive. Some of you literally have no room, as in, there is absolutely no room for a healthy relationship whatsoever because, you know, you have filled up that space in your heart with bitterness, or you have filled up that space with being jaded. So there's no space for it to fit in. That is completely different case from being a vessel to receive love and then having so much love inside and attracting a relationship that is so powerful and so loving that it just pours out to everyone else that you meet because you were loved in that matter. Ask yourself which situation you would rather be in. So, again, this is the worst thing that I often hear single women say, and that is, I'm single because I'm waiting on God. Please, I implore you to be patient. I encourage you not settling for less than what you are worth. I encourage that you know your worth so that you don't settle for anything less than that. But what I don't encourage is for you to sit around on your behind. Do the work. Do you want a man who is going to actively work on building his relationship with you and actively work on being a better man for you every single day? Then you have to be that as well. Be the type of person that you want to attract. Because if not, it's a little selfish and hypocritical, don't you think? And I say this out of so much love. And I also say this out of a place of non judgment because I have totally been in that position. I have totally been in situations where I was asking from others things that I was not willing to be myself. So I know what that's like. I know how incredibly unaligned that is. And I know that it's a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for sabotaging your relationships. So, with all love, really and truly, because I want you to know that I love you, I want what is best for you, and I want to see you in a relationship that is happy and that encourages your growth and that makes you feel good and that you're able to take that love and support that you have in your relationship and you're able to go out into the world and you're able to do that for others. You're able to encourage others and motivate others and lift people up and walk in your purpose and to really make a difference in the world. Like, this is why I believe so firmly in relationships and in love. I don't believe that we're supposed to walk our paths alone. I believe that there is so much that a healthy relationship can do for you. So, by that token, I hope that if you are truly committed to having that purpose partner in your life, that you are also truly committed to growing and being the best partner for him that you can possibly be.